Okay, let's read the question together. An alarm has an algorithm that decides whether to sound the alarm by checking the data that is stored in the following three variables. Okay, you're going to check these three variables and then you're going to decide whether to sound the alarm or not. The variables are system alarm, door sensor active, and window sensor active. These three variables. All right. Now, the alarm will only sound when the alarm has been activated and one or both of and this is a mistake here, printing mistake. Door and window sensor are activated based on that. So this line is most important. Really, you need to understand, right? It's saying it will only sound when alarm has been activated. Alarm means this one we are talking about, system alarm activated, and one or both of the door and window sensor activated. So it's a combination with system alarmed with either door sensor active or window sensor active. Now, when the system needs to sound the alarm, it calls the pre-written procedure sound alarm. So we do not need to write any procedure ourselves. It is already pre-written for us. We only need to think about this condition. If this condition is met, we simply call this procedure, which will sound the alarm. Now we need to write a program that checks the data. Okay, this is the thing that checks the data in the variables and then calls sound alarm when appropriate. So first thing is, please, whenever you see a question like this, don't just, without reading properly, don't just think, okay, I need to write a procedure first. No, it's pre-written, the keyword, so you don't need to worry about that. All you need to worry about, checks the data in the variables, and then your job gonna be called this procedure. So how to write this answer? This is a 4 marker questions. A simplest way it could be, we start with a if condition, because if is basically for checking the condition, right? So if system armed, if that is true, okay, if this is true, then one of them also need to be true as well. You can write down if, under if, as you can see the indentation, right? If door sensor active true, or window sensor active true. Any of those, either this or this. Okay, any of them true, then all we need to do, simply just call the procedure which is already pre-written for us. We do not need to write it ourselves. That's it, right? You just simply write this to get full 4 marks. Okay, that's simply this one. So when you're writing this, remember this condition should be set in proper order. This line is part of this if. Okay, you can make it even shorter. We don't need to explicitly see through, just simply can write like this: if system armed and door sensor active, or window sensor active. Now remember, this is a combination, so I need to give a bracket here and close the bracket here. By this, we are creating combination with system armed and do sensor active, or system armed and window sensor active. When this condition is met, we simply call the procedure which is sound alarm. That's it. You get full 4 marks for that. Right? Let's look at the next problem now. Okay. In the next problem, we can see it says customers at a hotel. If we take it to the next page, actually, it doesn't look good here. There you go. So, customers at a hotel can stay between 1 and 5 inclusive nights and can choose between a basic room or a premium room. Okay, there's two type of rooms available. The basic room costs £60 each night. Okay, I'm just marking those key information we might need later on. And a premium room costs £80 each night. So this two key information we have. Okay, next. We need to create a function and the function name should be new price. They give it to us, okay? That takes the number of nights and the type of room as parameter. So our function which we are going to create, it should have two parameters. One is the number of nights and another is type of room. And then we need to calculate and returns the price to pay. Based on these two information, we need to calculate how much and then that need to be returned. Okay, you do not have to validate this parameter, which is beautiful, right? We just need to focus on to create our function, right? So let's write, where should I write it? Let's write here. This is just as an extra, right? I just want to start from this side, okay? So to write a, let me use the different color really. That might be more distinguishable. Make it red is better, right? Okay, and maybe bigger as well. Okay, so the keyword is def, create a function, and then the name of our function is new price. Okay, you are not choosing your own name, or it's not capital letter, it's not a small letter. Remember, it should be exactly as it is, new price. Now we need two parameters. That means parameters goes here, and two parameters. One is number of nights, one is the type of room. They didn't give us the exact name of the parameter, so we can choose our own. I would say keep it simple, nights, that is one parameter. Another one is maybe room type. Okay, these are the two parameters we are taking. Now our function is, definition is getting ready. Now what we need to do after that, we need to calculate the price and returns the price to pay. I would say price equals, comes as a capital, let's keep it smaller, look better, equals. So what do we need to do, how we know that how much they need to pay? For that reason I need to check what kind of room they are choosing. Remember, because based on the room the price is varying. So if I say if room type equals two different kind of room, one is basic and another is premium. So if I say it is basic, if it is basic, then my price gonna be how many nights they are staying times 60. Okay, if it should be small letter, I'm typing in Google Doc, that's why just doing it itself. Anyway, so if my room type is basic, the price gonna be nights per 60. How many nights? We don't know, but how that many nights times 60. That one. Other than that, the another room type is premium. We only have two options, isn't it? So we don't need to explicitly say it, as you can say else, and then in that case price gonna be nights times 80. Okay, so we have calculated the price. Then what, we need to return that value. So this price need to be returned. So let me write return keyword, and then returning what, the value of price. Same need to be done here as well. Okay, return and then price. That's it basically. So we calculate the price, we return it. Simple. And you get full 4 marks for that. You see, you do not need to know a lot to get marks here, right? It says what you need to do, create a function. It says take parameters. What kind of parameters says two parameter, and it didn't tell us exact names. We choose our own. Then it says based on room the price change. So of course we need to change what type of room they are choosing. If basic price gonna be nice times 60, and then we need to return that value. It says return, so we use return. We cannot use print here. We cannot anyway because it's function, but they explicitly said return the value, return the price. So you just use the return. Else, room type, that means room, if room type is premium, then calculate price differently and return it. Okay, that's simply as it is. 4 marks, good. Now let's go to the next question. Okay, so next question is asking, write a program. This, by the way, this is a continuation from the first one. So we need to think of this as well while you are solving this. Write a program that uses new price. Okay, that means the function we just write, we need to use that information now to output the price of staying in a premium room for 5 nights, right? Remember, when you're creating this function, we are taking two variables. So to use this, I need to give two arguments, one for how many nights, another is what type of room. So this question actually giving us this information out. It says 5 nights and stays in the premium. We just need to write a code to use our this, to use our function, right? So simply, it's really simply, we just need to call, let me color it red again and make it bigger, right? All you need to do, call your function, which is new price, and for how many nights? 5 nights, they said. What type of room? Premium room. So premium premium room, right? We just call our function, give the parameter value, and we just save these two in a variable. So variable name I can say total price. Total price equals, right? And you just simply print total price. So let's see, just this two line really. What I'm doing here, let's see, we are using our function. Our function needs two arguments, value for our parameters. How many nights? This says 5. What type of room? This is premium, right? So I'm just calling my function, and the return value, which is price, this return value now saving in this variable total price, right? So what it does the calculation, so 80 plus 5, which is 400, and this 400 now saved in this variable. Then I just print out that variable, print total price. That's it. You get 3 marks for that. Okay, as simple as it is. Let's go to the next question. Okay, let's read this question now. It says a program written in a high-level language is used to access the data from a database. This program has a procedure named SaveLogs that stores the data to an external text file. Okay, the procedure name is SaveLogs, and it is saving the data to an external text file. Now, this procedure SaveLogs takes the string of data to be stored to the text file as a parameter. Right? What parameter is taking? The data. Takes the file name of the text file as a parameter. So another parameter. SaveLogs taking two parameters. One is data itself and also the name of the file. And then it just stored the string of data to a text file. Right? we need to save that data in that text file. That's it. We simply write a procedure. It takes two parameters. What are two parameters? Data and the name of the file, and then the information data need to be written in that file, and that's it. So let's keep it really, really simple. In this time, I'll write OCR reference language for this to keep it simpler, right? So you can write down procedure. The name of my procedure is SaveLogs. Now SaveLogs take two parameter. One is data, another is file name. Okay, let me put different color. Put the different color, red, and I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, so then I'm going to create a variable name called file equals, then of course you need to open the file, right? The name of our file is at this moment simply the variable name. We open it. Now we need to read the data in it. So file dot write line. What are you writing in that file? The data itself. We don't know what data, we just write the variable name. When you open a file, of course, you write and then make sure you close it. Okay? Close the file and just simply end procedure. That's it. So we create our procedure. We give it a name SaveLogs as they ask for, and then we are taking two parameter. One is the data, another is the name of the file. For now, it is just a variable name, so just file name. And then we open the file, whatever file is that, and we store that in another variable. In variable we choose ourselves, they didn't tell us what should be, so just give it file. Then after opening it, we write the information, write those data in that file. Then make sure you close it. Remember, file need to be open, file need to be read or write, file need to be closed, and then end the procedures. That's it. You got full marks for that, full 6 marks only for these few lines of code. All right, beautiful. Let's go to the next one now. Okay, this one, let me just put it in next page and let's read it together. So an algorithm stores the position of a character on a straight line as an integer. A user can move the character left or right. Okay, the following algorithm generates one random number between 1 and 512 inclusive to store as the position, prompts the user to input a direction to move left or right. Okay, takes a direction as input until a valid direction is input, and then there is a code here. Now what happens is most of the time when students are sitting with this, they just read this code and then they think, oh dear, I need to do a lot of things. Okay, but you just need to do the abstraction. You just find out what exactly you need to do, right? It is their code. Do you understand what they're trying to do? And based on that, what they're asking you to write, right? That's we need to first think about. Now, the reason I'm just saying this because, as I said, if you just keep reading this and try to understand each of these, yes, that's good, but you are losing some precious time. So just have a quick understanding of it and then go to the task, what they're asking us to do. If the character moves left, 5 is subtracted from the position. If the character moves right, 5 is added to the position. You all understand that is simply if and else problem, right? The position of the character can only be between 1 and 512 inclusive. Now, the function move character takes the direction left or right and current position as a parameters. Change position based on direction. Sets position to 1 if the new position is less than 1. Sets position to 512 if the new position is greater than 512, and then is return this. So whenever you see these bullet points, think like, okay, now I need to process this information, use this information to write my code. Okay, and this we're already getting information from there basically. The good thing is they're asking to complete the function. The first line is already written for us, as you can see. Okay, it is already written. So how we can do that, right? So we don't need to do this part at all. We just simply go there and write down if, because it says direction, we need to check every time before we take the position, right? If the direction is left, if direction left, my position gonna be my position gonna be position minus 5. Okay, that's what they ask us to do. Look at here, characters move left, 5 is subtracted from the position. That's what we did. If that's not the case, that means else our position gonna be position plus 5. Okay, so this part is done. If the character moves left, 5 is subtracted from the position. So new position gonna be position minus 5. Otherwise, position plus 5. So this part is done. Okay. Of course, this is not good spelling here anyway because it's auto-corrected me. Right. The last part is we also need to check if position set position 1 position to 1 if the new position is less than 1. So we need to give that check as well, right? So we need to write if position is smaller than 1. Is it smaller? Less than 1, yes. So we need to position, I don't know why I'm just keep misspelling this word. Position gonna be set it to 1, okay? It says set position to 1 if it is less than 1, or set position 512 if the new position is greater than 512. So into that condition as well, if position is greater than 512, then of course our position need to be interesting. Okay, it's gonna be 512. We need to give the check, and at the end we need to return the position. So when all of the check been done, just come out and as a return to our function, return position. Okay, I just put them all together so you can see it a bit better. All right, before you switch off. So this put in a red color, right? So let's quickly read it. Position again, I'm making this mistake over and over. Now our function name is move character. It's taking two parameter, direction and position, and based on these information they're asking if character moves left, 5 is subtracted from position, otherwise 5 is added. So we did that, checking what the direction means. Is it what the value left? If it's left, take 5 away from the position, otherwise it should be aligned anyway. Otherwise position gonna be plus 5. Okay, and then we need to check this as well. We need to change the position based on direction. Done. Good. Next one is based on the value. So set position 1 if the new position is less than 1. We're checking if new position, which is this value, is it smaller than 1. If it is, we're gonna set position equals 1. Otherwise, if it is more than 512, we just put this position value to 512, and at the end we just return the position. Okay, they ask us to return, we return it. It's for 6 marks, and with this basically selection you're getting 6 marks. You do not need to create your functions at all, right? So my suggestion is, though it looks like kind of scary, you really do not need to bother too much about this code at all. If you just look at those bullet points and just give it a quick read, and then again look at the conditions, what you need to implement in your code, and that's basically it, right? That's basically it. Give you enough information to write your code. Okay. Okay, that's the end of this session, guys. I hope you have some information and you see it firsthand how to answer these little trickier questions in the exam. Don't leave it empty. Just try your best. Read questions very carefully. Most of the time, you really do not need to write a lot of code. Just little things, okay? They give you all of the hints. You need to find out and write the basic code as basic as possible, right? See you later. Bye bye.